Thank you all so much for stopping by today. So y'all, I was sitting inside and I looked at the forecast. Now y'all know I have been saying, where is the rain? When is it gonna come? It's just been so dry. And so over the last couple of days, y'all, we have had rain, and I'm so happy because I can tell my plants absolutely love it. Like, they were really scaring me. I was watering them, but it was just so dry, so hot, so humid. And the first day it was only about 5 or 10 minutes. Now yesterday we got a great downpour, but more rain is scheduled throughout the next 4 days, I think. Now, remember, I always tell y'all that could be, some days it's 5%, but I think it's like between 45 and 50%. And it was so funny yesterday because I was out here planting a few things and it started to get dark. But then on the other side of the yard, it was light. And I was like, I'm not going in. But then I went in to do something. And before I could get back out, all of a sudden I heard a downpour. And so with all of this rain that is forecasted, I am going to go ahead and pick a lot of the tomatoes that have even that are either ripe or blushed on the skin of the tomato, because when it's been so hot and dry like this and then you start to get a lot of rain, this is where some of your tomatoes can start to do what I call cracking. Cracking at the skin, because it's just so much water that's the plant is uptaken at one time, and so it can cause it to crack. And y'all know these tomatoes right here, I want to say these are the pineapple tomatoes. I've been waiting for them. Like, they are slowly starting to turn, but I don't want them to start cracking because they're a pretty good sized tomato. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let them finish ripening on the kitchen counter. But let me share with you something that I've noticed. Now, y'all know I have put up Pollinator Island. I will link that. Now, what I will tell you is that some of the birds are being a little messy over there, and putting some of the food on the ground. So I have to fill that up again. But I'm going to show you what somebody smart has discovered. So many of you all had asked me, like, how are you letting your tomatoes ripen on the vine like that? The birds would have been gotten them. And at the beginning of the season, y'all, I didn't have a problem. As you can see, like, a lot of the tomatoes are still ripe, but we have one smart little bird or whoever who has found some good tomatoes. And so this I'm gonna have to take off. So now that I know that they have found out how good the tomatoes are, I may have to start harvesting them a little bit earlier and not letting them like fully ripen on the vine. And I wanted to give you a quick update of the Alberta Peach tomato. We planted these just a little bit late, but this is one of the ones that I'm so eager to try, but it just keeps making me wait. So we have a lot of fruit that's coming on the plant, but I'm still waiting for them to get ripe. And so what I'm going to do today, because we still have lots of tomatoes, lots of green tomatoes that are coming on, that I see. Oh, y'all, I'm glad I came from this angle because I didn't even see these two down here. So some of these are the ones that we planted a little bit later, but what I am going to do today is just go ahead, get the ones that are truly ripened on the plant. Y'all, these are the best tomatoes. And I put up a video because I remember getting this as a transplant from the garden center. But the thing is they didn't have the tag on, like in the, how some of the plants have the tag in the plant. Well, this label was on the pot. And so I remember throwing the pot away because of the shape. And I said to myself, you need to come back and label. And no, I did not. So these are really good. They're really sweet. But I cannot tell you the name of it. Some of you have put what they may be. I know it's like a cherry tomato. I'm really thinking, but don't quote me, I'm really thinking that these are like the big husky tomatoes that they were selling, but I have no idea. But what I will tell you is I would love to plant these again. We had a little bit of a slug problem at the beginning, but overall they have been a real workhorse in the garden, especially with all the heat and all of the humidity. Okay, so yes, the birds are starting to understand what's going on. I guess at the beginning they didn't quite understand. And then again, I told y'all I built the pollinator garden and they were doing that. But these, it's a few more that are ripen. And here is another leaf-footed bug that is also doing lots of damage. A lot of y'all ask me, what do I do with it on a short that I did? I try my best to do this. I know it may be gross to you, but I try my best to do this and I get rid of them. That's normally what I do. But I did come out one day and on my sunflowers, it was the leaf-footed bug nymphs. I'm going to try to put a picture of that. They were everywhere. And so what I did with those is I sprayed insecticidal soap on there. I always tell y'all it's different levels to just trying to control the pest in your garden. I never expect to get rid of every single pest down to zero, but I do expect for there to be a decrease. And so I have noticed a decrease, but since it's been raining, I know that I may have to do another application of insecticidal soap just to see if that will help. And then if not, I'll probably do an application of neem oil. And finally, before we harvest, this was the very last bed I think we planted because we had so many leafy greens here that were doing great. And so I didn't want to pull them. And so this was the very last bed that we planted that's now starting to just take form, take shape. I think I've harvested maybe 4 tomatoes from all of these plants right here. Now I know I did save the tag. Like this was one of the ones that I did save because I bought these as a 6-pack, a transplant, and I want to say, yep, I see it right here. I remember saying put it back so you'll know. So these are the Homestead heirloom tomatoes. They're determinate as well. But y'all, I cannot believe that already. I told y'all you got to start thinking about either a second planting, and I know I'm right at the deadline, or your fall planting. So I'm doing a little bit of both. Make sure you tap the subscribe button because I am going to try this new tomato. They say it's a 42-day tomato that I want to try to grow in the garden and see how that does. But a lot of the other determinate tomatoes that we planted early on in the season, I feel like they are coming to an end. So we're going to replace something that's quick, early to maturity, and then just get ready to really start thinking about fall. Okay, so here are some of the bigger, or what I call like the slicing tomatoes that we harvested before we get even more rain. Now I'm gonna go around and get a separate container, and I'm gonna harvest like all of the small cherry tomatoes, which I know is going to be a lot, so we're going to have to end up giving a lot away, which I'm totally fine with that, because I want people to be able to taste these tomatoes because they're so sweet and they're so good, and I have been using them quite a bit. So I am going to flash a picture up of the Armenian cucumber that we picked, and we got some more growing, which I'm super excited. But I told y'all I'm gonna let this plant do whatever it feels like. I am trying to keep it a little tamed so that it doesn't go over in this bed, but hey, if it wants to, it can. But the reason why I have to get in here, because I do have some grape tomatoes that are on this side that need to be picked, as well as the other side. Now I'm gonna make sure I have my gloves on because y'all know I am real particular about reaching my hands in places where I can't totally see. But now that I'm talking to y'all and like really looking inside this raised bed, I see so many more Armenian cucumbers that are coming on. So I'm going to work on this over here, and actually this grape tomato over here is covered as well, and it is some down in here too. Okay, so it's like a treasure hunt in here, and I still left a few on here. I'm going to just really watch it over the next couple of days. If I feel like I need to harvest them, I just wanted them to get a little bit more red on the vine. But there is a little bit of cracking going on, which is why I kind of zoomed in on one of the clusters that we cut. So I'm going to get rid of that one, and it's maybe like a couple of more in there. But we got one more that I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to pull this plant. I think that it is done. So I got to get my step ladder to be able to just harvest and pull the rest of this plant. But I will make sure that I pop another variety of a short maturing tomato in there, or I may just put a type of cucumber in there, just something that's real quick and can get us right up until fall. So this is one of the first tomatoes, y'all, and I'm telling you, it has done me very well. But as you can see, it needs to come down. And this is also the one where I keep seeing the leaf-footed bugs on. So I'm gonna get my step ladder. I'm just gonna go ahead and harvest the rest of these, and then we're gonna pull this plant. And again, I will pop something else here. Now it is supposed to be an indeterminate, and I do still see tomatoes on there, but like with the leaves and all of that, I know that I have some seeds for something that's short maturing that we can pop in here. And again, it'll take us right up until the fall to where we start planting a lot of our leafy greens. Okay, so I think I have all of the tomatoes, and I am going to take them in because again, some had a little bit of cracking, and so those I will toss out because I did, you saw that I start like harvesting by the cluster, so we'll get those tossed out. But I think this will help prevent a lot more tomatoes from cracking again on some of the ones that are not quite right but on their way. If we continue to get the amount of rain that we did over the last 2 days, I'll come out and check, and if I need to harvest those, I will harvest those too. But that can sometimes happen again when it has been dry, although you've been keeping it water, but it's just like an influx of heavy and a lot of rain. and they can cause your tomatoes to crack. So one of the ways that we're going to try to prevent that is we're going to harvest them early, and most of them are on their way to like full ripeness, but a few I did pick that were starting to blush, and it's okay. We're just going to let them finish ripening right on the kitchen counter. So as always, thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you share this video with your family and your friends. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead, tap the subscribe button. Make sure you tap the bell so that you can receive notification each and every time we upload a new video. Again, thank you all so much for watching. And until the next video, bye-bye.